Lillian thought her heart would never heal after Michael's death, until a chance encounter brought her face to face with Dylan, a millionaire with a heart shattered by his own loss. If this love story touches your heart, please help us reach 1,000 subscriptions. Before we begin, let us know in the comments where you're watching us from, and please like this video to support the channel. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Lillian Green tightened her grip on her young son's hand as they walked past the silent rows of gravestones. The cold autumn wind blew through, making little Miles start to shiver. They stopped in front of a fresh grave. The flowers were still fresh beside the headstone. Michael Green, beloved husband and father. Lillian felt that familiar ache rise in her chest. It had been 3 months since the accident. 3 months since her world shattered with a single phone call. "Where's Daddy, Mommy?" Miles asked, his wide eyes looking up at her with innocent curiosity. "Daddy is watching us from the sky, sweetheart," she replied, holding back tears. A strong gust of wind blew through, carrying away the white scarf wrapped around Miles' neck. It fluttered through the air like a white butterfly. "My scarf!" Miles cried out. "I'll get it. Wait right here, honey. I'll be right back." "Let me help you." The warm voice came from behind her. The man she'd just seen was standing there. "I'm Dylan, and this is my daughter, Nora." "I'm Lillian, and this is my son, Miles." Dylan helped Lillian collect her belongings while his daughter, Nora, watched Miles with quiet curiosity. She looked about 5 or 6 years old, with blonde pigtails and the same blue eyes as her father. "How are you two getting home?" Dylan asked. "I was planning to call a taxi." "Oh, really? If you don't mind, you could come home with me." Lillian hesitated. He was still a stranger. Sensing her concern, Dylan offered a gentle smile. "I understand if you're not comfortable. I just want to help." "Thank you. In that case, we'd be grateful for the ride." On the drive, as the 2 children fell asleep in the back seat, Dylan and Lillian began to talk. "My wife, Sarah, passed away recently too," Dylan said softly. "Breast cancer. We fought it together for 3 years." "I'm so sorry," Lillian replied, a sharp ache in her chest. "My husband, Michael, died in a car accident 3 months ago. It all happened so suddenly. He kissed me goodbye that morning on his way to work, and I never saw him alive again." Dylan nodded in quiet sympathy. They drove in silence for a while, each lost in their own thoughts. "Where are you and Miles headed?" "Honestly, I don't know. We just left the apartment we were renting. After Michael died, I couldn't afford the rent anymore. I was going to find a cheap motel for tonight and figure it out tomorrow." "You don't have any family nearby?" "No," Lillian shook her head. "I grew up in an orphanage. I have a guest room at my place. You and Miles are welcome to stay there until you find something more permanent." Lillian responded, feeling a wave of relief wash over her. "I don't even know how to thank you." "You don't have to," Dylan smiled. "I understand the kind of pain you're going through, and I want to help." Dylan's mansion sat on a vast estate with an electronic iron gate and a long, winding driveway. As they entered, Lillian couldn't help but be overwhelmed by the sheer size of the mansion. "You raise Nora on your own? What do you do for a living?" Lillian asked, a note of skepticism in her voice. "I run my own architecture firm, so I've got the flexibility to work from home when I need to. That way, I get to be around Nora more." Lillian's eyes widened. She couldn't hide her surprise. "CEO?" she stammered, her cheeks flushing. I didn't think—" Dylan smiled gently at her reaction. "Please, don't let that change the way you see me. I'm still just a single father doing his best for his daughter." And in that moment, Lillian felt a deep respect for this man, for his humility, and the kindness he had shown. In the days that followed, Lillian and Miles gradually adapted to their new life in Dylan's home. She found a part-time job at a nearby bookstore, which allowed her to take care of Miles and contribute to household expenses. One afternoon, as Lillian was folding laundry in the living room, she noticed Nora hugging her teddy bear tightly as always. Curious, she asked, "You really love that bear, don't you, Nora?" "This is Brownie. Mommy told me I have to keep him safe, not give him to anyone, and never lose him." "Your mom said that? Why do you have to keep it so safe?" "Mom said it's a secret." Lillian nodded, smiling at the little girl, but couldn't help wondering about the odd warning. That night, Lillian had a strange dream. In it, she was standing in a garden full of flowers. A beautiful woman with golden hair who looked just like Nora stood before her. "I'm Sarah, Dylan's wife." "Sarah?" Lillian gasped. "But you—" "Yes, I've passed." Sarah gave a sad smile. "I don't have much time. Listen to me, Lillian. I know you're taking care of Dylan and Nora. Thank you for that. I— Find the USB hidden inside Nora's teddy bear," Sarah urged. "Be careful with Asher Black. He's dangerous." "Asher Black? What USB?" Lillian woke with a start, her heart pounding. The next morning, Lillian couldn't stop thinking about the strange dream. She knew it was just a dream, but it felt too real, too vivid. When Dylan went to work in his home office and the children were playing in the living room, Lillian walked into Nora's bedroom, where the teddy bear, Brownie, was resting on the bed. She hesitated, wondering if she should really be doing this. It was just a dream, wasn't it? But then she remembered Sarah's odd instructions to Nora about the bear. Gently, she picked it up, feeling guilty, like she was violating something sacred. The bear felt normal, soft and cuddly, but when she turned it around, she noticed a small seam on the back, slightly different from the others. Her heart pounding, Lillian carefully pulled at the seam. Inside, hidden deep within the stuffing, was a small black USB drive. "Lillian?" She jumped and turned around, seeing Dylan standing in the doorway, confusion written across his face. "Dylan, I can explain," she stammered, feeling like a child caught doing something wrong. "What are you doing with Nora's bear?" "I know this sounds crazy, but I had a dream about Sarah last night. She told me to find a USB inside the bear." She held up the USB. Dylan stared at it, eyes wide with shock. "And I found it. I know it seems like a strange coincidence, but—" "Did Sarah say anything else?" Dylan asked quickly, his eyes fixed on the USB. She said to be careful with someone named Asher Black. She said he's dangerous." Dylan's face turned pale. He sat down, looking as if he'd just seen a ghost. "Asher Black was Sarah's oncologist," he said, his voice low. "One of the top doctors in the city." Dylan looked at the USB in Lillian's hand. "We should see what's on it." They plugged the USB into Dylan's laptop. Inside was an encrypted file and a text note. "If you're reading this, I'm probably gone. This is evidence of illegal activity involving Asher Black at Memorial Hospital. The password to open the file is Nora's birth date and the secret vault room number, NB2207B42. Dylan quickly typed in the password. The file opened, revealing dozens of images and documents, altered medical records, forged prescriptions, and notes on unauthorized experiments conducted on cancer patients. "Oh my God," Lillian whispered, scanning through the files. "Sarah uncovered all of this?" "She was always observant and careful," Dylan said, his voice thick with emotion. "I didn't believe her. I thought it was just hallucinations from the medication." "B42, Lillian pointed at the screen. "That must be the vault room Sarah mentioned. We need to go there." "No," Dylan shook his head. "It's too dangerous. We should take this evidence to the police." "And what if it's not enough?" Lillian asked. "Evidence from someone who's gone, with no witness. We need more proof from that vault." Dylan looked at her intently, then nodded. "All right. But we have to be careful." "Sarah wrote about a side entrance to the basement," Dylan whispered, as they passed the now empty reception area. "This way." They turned into a quiet corridor and found a door marked Staff Only. Dylan pulled a card from his pocket. "Sarah's badge," he explained. "I don't know if it still works." He swiped the card, and luckily, the door opened with a soft beep. They quickly stepped into a stairwell leading down to the basement. "What's the plan?" Lillian whispered. "I'll stand guard here," Dylan said. "You go in and find room B42. Take pictures of everything you find. If anything seems dangerous, we leave immediately." Lillian nodded, fear rising in her chest. But so did determination. She grabbed her phone and a small flashlight, then stepped into the dark basement hallway. The basement was cold and silent, with only the hum of ventilation filling the air. Lillian passed rooms marked B38, B39, B40, B41, and finally B42. The door had a keypad lock. Lillian typed in the code Sarah had left. The door clicked open. Inside was a small laboratory, filled with medical equipment and shelves of medicine. Lillian quickly began snapping photos of vials, handwritten notes, and a notebook lying open on the desk. When she flipped through the notebook, her heart nearly stopped. It was a list of cancer patients, with notes about trial dosages and reactions. Many names had been crossed out, including Sarah's. She cursed under her breath and began snapping photos of each page. Suddenly, she heard footsteps in the hallway. She quickly switched off her flashlight and hid behind a large cabinet. The door creaked open, and a man entered, tall, thin, with salt and pepper hair and gold-rimmed glasses. Dr. Asher Black. "I know someone's here," he said coldly. "I got an alert from the security system. So, someone's found my little research project." He pulled a small gun from his coat pocket. "What a shame. I really hate cleaning up messes." Lillian's heart pounded. Suddenly, the alarm blared through the hallway. Dr. Black turned toward the door, momentarily distracted. It was Lillian's chance to run, but as she stepped out from her hiding spot, he turned back and spotted her. "Ah, there you are," he sneered, lifting the gun. At that moment, the door burst open and Dylan charged in. "Lillian, run!" Dr. Black spun around, startled by the sudden appearance. He fired, but Dylan shoved Lillian aside and took the bullet in his shoulder. "Dylan!" Lillian screamed as he collapsed, blood spreading across his shirt. In that instant, the sound of boots and shouted commands echoed from the hallway. Police officers stormed into the room, guns drawn on Dr. Black. "Drop the weapon! Police!" Realizing he was cornered, Dr. Black slowly set the gun on the floor and raised his hands. "Are you okay?" Lillian asked, kneeling beside Dylan, pressing her hand to his wound. "I'll be fine," he panted, wincing in pain. "I called the police as soon as he showed up. I couldn't let you be in danger." Lillian pressed harder on his wound, tears streaming down her face. "How could you be so reckless?" "Because I can't lose someone else," Dylan whispered, his eyes locked on hers. Paramedics arrived quickly at the scene. While Dr. Black was handcuffed and taken away, Dylan was placed on a stretcher and rushed to the emergency room, with Lillian by his side, holding his hand tightly. "I'm okay," Dylan managed a weak smile. "It's just a minor wound." The days that followed were a whirlwind. The evidence from Vault Room B42, along with the documents Sarah had collected, was enough to formally charge Dr. Asher Black with multiple serious crimes, from manslaughter to illegal medical experimentation on cancer patients. While Dylan recovers in the hospital, Lillian stayed by his side every day and cared for both children. "I think Sarah found a way to protect us, even when she wasn't here anymore," Dylan said, watching his daughter with affection. "And somehow, she led you to us." Lillian took his hand in hers. 6 months later, Dylan's home was filled with laughter. Nora and Miles ran through the backyard, playing tag with Brownie, the teddy bear now stitched back together with care. Lillian was preparing dinner in the kitchen when she felt Dylan's warm arms wrap around her from behind. "I have something I want to ask you," he whispered into her ear. Lillian turned to him, wrapping her arms around his neck. "What is it?" Dylan pulled a small black box from his pocket. When he opened it, a delicate diamond ring sparkled inside. "I know we've only known each other for less than a year, but I've never believed in anything more than I believe in this. Lillian Green, will you marry me?" Tears of joy welled in Lillian's eyes. "Yes, I will." They kissed, a sweet, promising kiss for the future. Candlelight flickered gently throughout the little backyard garden. Lanterns hung from tree branches, casting a fairy tale glow over the ordinary evening. Today marked the 1-year wedding anniversary of Dylan and Lillian. "Dad, my bow tie's crooked," Miles frowned, staring at the uneven knot on his collar. "Let me fix that for you," Dylan chuckled, kneeling to straighten his son's tie. "Handsome as ever." "Do you think Mommy Lillian will like the party?" Miles asked, his face serious. "Absolutely," Dylan said confidently. "You, me, and Nora, we've prepared everything perfectly." Nora came running in with a bundle of wildflowers she had just picked from the garden corner. "Daddy, I made a bouquet for Mommy Lily." Dylan smiled at his daughter. Since Lillian entered their lives, Nora had changed so much, from a quiet, sad little girl to a joyful, vibrant child. She had started calling Lillian Mommy Lily, all on her own, with no prompting from anyone. "It's beautiful, sweetheart." The sound of the door opening made all three of them look up. Lillian stepped into the garden. "Happy anniversary!" the three called out in unison. Lillian wrapped the children in a warm hug, then kissed Dylan softly. "Did you and the kids plan all of this?" "We wanted to surprise you," Miles said proudly. "And this is my bouquet for you," Nora said, handing over the wildflowers. "Oh, it's beautiful," Lillian said, moved as she embraced Nora. "Thank you, sweetheart." You. They shared dinner together under the stars, surrounded by candlelight and the warmth of love. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring tales of love, resilience, and second chances. See you in the next story.